Just,
You've got to be trained.
just a minute before you do that. So I'm gonna break with tradition for just a moment, before we do our pledge, but I would like to ask for a moment of silence in honor and memory of Mayor Harold Linkus, who passed away, and his funeral was today. So if we would take a few seconds to remember him in our thoughts, I'd appreciate it. Thank you. I'm going to ask Councilman Jim Van Hoosier if he would lead the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We have one public hearing scheduled for tonight. The town of Christiansburg, Virginia, as a recipient of a block grant funding, is required by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD, to prepare and adopt a multi-year consolidated plan of annual action that solicits citizen views on proposed community development block grant CBDG program activities contained in these documents. The plan outlines proposed activities for the CDBG funding and specific activities for the program year ending July 1, 2015, beginning 2001, July 1, 2015. Anyone here to address this, Mr. Helms?
Nicole's Water Road.
Nicole?
It's just, the 5-year consolidated plan lays out, how the town can propose to use funding for the CDBG monies from HUD. I looked at data regarding homelessness, housing, employment, those types of things included in that document. And then also included is the first annual action plan, and that's detailing specific projects we're working on. And as most of you know, we're working in the Park District, improving infrastructure there, and the first year of this program will be tied in with some revenue sharing funds from VDOT to upgrade drainage infrastructure, provide sidewalks, and those types of things in that along Park Street from, I believe it's Haymaker or Hagen down. So, so we're just a continuation of the projects we've been doing, but we have to apply for another 5-year cycle.
Very good.
And will we have a chance to ask questions later on? Will you be here later?
Yes, I'll
Okay,
stay.
okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other comments? Hearing none, I will close the public hearing. I will call to order this meeting of the Christiansburg Town Council. Our first item on the agenda is a consent agenda, and it's the council meeting minutes of July 28, 2015.
Mr. Mayor, I would move that we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
One comment, Mr. Mayor, and maybe it goes unheralded too much, but just in reading the minutes this time, just to give my appreciation to Ms. Stipes. I don't know if we just take it for granted, but I mean, it's a lot of information in these minutes, but I mean, every week when I read through these, they're excellently written, and I really appreciate the concise, the way it's put in the format, and it really takes a lot of consideration as to what we were saying each week. And again, I just want to pass my appreciation on to Michelle for that.
I think we can all second that.
I think we can all do that, exactly. If there are no further discussion or questions, Madam Clerk, would you poll council?
Yes, sir. Councilman Bishop,
Aye.
Councilman Hall,
Aye.
Councilman Hubbard,
Aye.
Councilman Showalter,
Aye.
Councilman Stipes,
Aye.
Councilman Van Hoosier,
Aye.
I believe that to be 6-0, the consent agenda passes. I am not aware of any recognitions we have tonight. Is that correct, as far as anyone knows? Then I will open our citizens' hearings. This is where citizens have the opportunity to come before council and express any views, thoughts, concerns, or we highly encourage compliments, but that they may have on the town. So, if you're going to address council tonight, please state your name, address and direct your questions to the chair. Is there anyone here that would like to enter a citizen's comment? Hearing none, I will close the citizens' hearing portion. And we'll go to staff reports. The first is Jerry Henline, who is our building official. He's going to update on the building inspections department. Mr. Henline.
Council, I appreciate the opportunity to be here this evening. To keep pace with what we're doing tonight, I'll move on pretty quick. But if you have any questions or anything, just feel free to ask and stop me at any point. I'll go over our staff, go into a little bit about what we do each day, some of the codes that we uncover, and then some statistical things at the end. Our permit technician is Leslie Boone. She's been with us about 6 months. Bill Aldridge is one of our building inspectors. He's been with us 9.5 years. Chris Childress is a building inspector. He's been here for 5.5 years. And as of August 16th, it'll be my 15th year here, 4th as building official. Just some functions of the building department. A building department is a law enforcement agency within a local jurisdiction. Its main function is to enforce building codes, which are laws. Authority to enforce the code is granted by the police power of the United States to legislate for the health, safety, and welfare of the public, which is granted by the U.S. Constitution. Just some staff functions. The role of the permit technician. The permit technician performs a multitude of building department tasks. The permit technician is the first point of contact when a building permit applicant or citizen comes to the building department to apply for a permit, request an inspection, file a property maintenance complaint, or ask a code-related question. In larger localities, the permit technician may specialize in 1 or 2 specific duties, where smaller localities such as ours, she handles a variety of duties for us. Just some of her daily job functions: ensuring the proper person is applying for a permit, verifying each contractor has the appropriate class and designation on their contractor's license, which is very important. Verifying a contractor has a very local business license here. Her phone rings off the hook. On an average day, she probably gets 30 to 40 phone calls. She schedules inspections for us, creates our permits, scans our construction documents. That's anything from mechanical submittals on HVAC loading equipment, structural documents that come with roof truss plans, framing documents, of course filing. She creates our inspection reports and our annual reports that we give. She organizes our plan review submittals for the staff to review and informs applicants of permit and inspection status. The building inspectors, their job can be very challenging. Building inspectors perform a multi-trade inspections or combination inspections, as most people know them. This requires them to be knowledgeable of a tremendous amount of information. The Virginia Residential Code alone has 44 chapters, 11 appendices, and over 300 reference standards. On a daily basis, building inspectors are bouncing between inspections, filling out correction sheets, answering code questions, looking at code discrepancies, posting notices, reviewing plans, updating continuing education credits, and reviewing permits. This is some of the codes that we enforce here. This is all Virginia specific. I won't read them all, but the 2 main codes are the Virginia Construction Code and obviously the Virginia Residential Code, but everyone in between there at some point in time we're into. Just some of the daily functions about how our average day goes. They'll perform various inspections on commercial and residential construction, including framing, electrical, mechanical, plumbing, insulation, fireproofing, water and sewer lines, footings, foundations, bolt-up inspections, and final inspections. And there's probably a multitude there that I didn't list. Respond to citizens' complaints, perform plan reviews on single-family dwellings, accessory structures, decks, and other residential and commercial construction. They perform code reviews, and what I mean by that, the citizen may call in for a question, maybe something they can't answer right off. They'll have to dive into the code to find the appropriate answer. And they will assist me with property maintenance inspections when needed. Just continued with some of the daily functions: perform field inspections regarding the fog regulations, attend mandated training courses to maintain required certifications, work with planning and engineering on technical aspects of commercial and residential building projects, input and maintain records of inspections into the permit database, assist the fire marshal and deputy fire marshal, perform field inspections regarding the backflow prevention program, meet with customers that want to build a deck, storage building, pool, or similar type structures. I'll go into just a little bit about my job here. The building official's position includes aspects of structural, plumbing, mechanical, electrical design, and construction, as well as accessibility and energy conservation, and at times other subjects. The building official regularly interacts with architects, engineers, developers, builders, contractors, subcontractors, elected officials, lawyers, insurance representatives, material suppliers, material manufacturers, testing agencies, special inspection agencies, private inspectors, realtors, the general public, homeowners, and other building officials, fire officials, police, and town staff. As with inspectors, you're constantly required to jump from task to task as various things arise at any given time. So your job, you're just constantly flowing from different things throughout the day. Just some of the job functions here, I won't read them all, but a couple, the major things, obviously structural design and fire and life safety are the two biggest. But you can see we get involved in everything from electrical wiring to accessibility standards, getting you into this building and out. Maybe a day where we're meeting with the town attorney about a property maintenance complaint or some legal situation that we have going on. Dealing with permit and scheduling issues that arise from day to day. Returning phone calls is normal with most people now, just multitudes of emails that you'll get, and expect quick responses from the sender. Meet with other local building officials once or twice a month. We like to try to keep things as close as we can on the same level as far as what they're enforcing, what we're enforcing, how we might be interpreting something, and how they may be. We do CEU and training certifications here. Each inspector has to be certified through the state of Virginia. Not required that you're certified through the International Code Council, but each one of us have all our certifications through them as well.
Jerry, that number 16 on the last page, attending court,
Yes.
how often do you have to go to court?
Probably 3 or 4 times a year, maybe.
Oh, okay, it's not a non.
It's not every day.
Is that things involving the town, or just where they ask you to come in to help in?
Sometimes we'll testify in a case. The last several times that I've been, it's been where we've had a property maintenance issue going
Oh,
on.
okay, so it's been where we've had a direct involvement, not where you're just asked to come in to.
Right.
I see.
This was actually, just to give you an example of my day not too long ago, and I kind of put this in order here to show you tonight. You receive a phone call, return an email. Contractor arrives to obtain a permit. He does not have the proper contractor's license. His response is, why do I need this? You spend your time explaining to him why the state of Virginia requires you to have this. A meth lab is busted, needing your presence to post a structure. Stop work orders issued for work notice without a permit. Code modifications requested to alter egress doors with automatic locking devices. Staff member has a question regarding a construction issue on a job. A citizen has complained about the exterior of someone's house and a tree that has grown over the property line. A building owner wants to add doors to a corridor which alters egress, thus a code review to determine fire ratings, door size, door swing, type of doors, and other issues that would pertain to that. A sprinkler system was being upgraded. Do the heads need to be changed? Well, that depends. Some get changed 30 years, some get changed 40, some get changed 50. Depends on the type of head, the type of building you're dealing with, so there's several things there you've got to consider. A request has been made to issue a new certificate of occupancy. Permits to all spaces in the NRV Mall. Of course, the response there was, how fast can we get these? County assessor has a question about the size of a new business. We deal with him quite often. New building will get put up. He needs to know the square footage so that they can put the appropriate tax assessment on it. A developer wants to begin construction, though the plans nor special inspection documents have been completed or returned. Can we do the footings? We're on a tight schedule. A tenant files a complaint regarding a landlord not correcting perceived code violations, only to find out that the tenant is late on the rent and has lived there for 6 years but never had any complaints regarding the building until now. But requests that I contact the landlord as they do not want a confrontation with the landlord. And by the way, the mosquitoes are very bad outside in my dwelling. This was recent, as last and certainly not least, the town manager requests a meeting to discuss a complaint. The developer has complained that the plan review is taking too long and wants to know why this cannot be expedited in a more timely manner to fit his schedule. This is in addition to normal requirements that we do on a daily basis. Just to go through some of our current projects that we have going on, Homewood Suites is an 82-room, 4-story, 65,555 square foot hotel. Panda Express is over across from, as you can see, Texas Roadhouse in the back, 2,690 square foot restaurant. Regent Plaza is over on 460, I think, is that County Drive? I believe it goes up beside there on the corner of County and 460. That's going to be a 17,118 square foot strip mall with mixed use. And just right inside the door there, New River Community College has added 10,000 square feet to their New River Valley Mall campus. True Value Hardware, most of you I'm sure has been by down here on Roanoke Street, right up the street from Wade's, 18,000 square foot retail space. Graceway Childcare is a mixed use, 14,500 square foot building. It'll be 2-story with daycare on the bottom and business use on the top. These are current projects that we have in-house that have been reviewed or pending plan review comments. Of course, Graceway Childcare, as I just mentioned, the True Value Hardware, Kohl's, a lot of people are excited about that one coming to the NRV Mall. Kroger is undergoing a significant expansion of their facility. Sound Properties is a building down in the industrial park, and a Dairy Queen Grill Chill.
Which way is Kroger expanding?
They are going on both ends.
Are they?
Yeah, that big property
It's
on the
pretty
west side
significant. I
there.
think it's probably a 30,000 square foot that they're adding to that building.
Smokes, I didn't know that.
And the Dairy Queen, I keep on thinking that they're gonna break ground anytime, and they don't.
There are just a few hang-ups there as far as some submittals, and once that's cleared up, I'm sure they'll have that thing going in the ground soon.
They're doing the high school.
Below the high school at the mulch yard there. Some completed projects of note, Montgomery County Public Safety Building this year. Five Below, a lot of people say that's a great store for teenagers over at the Shoppers Way. Golden Corral, Harbor Freight Tool, at least that thing has brought some life back to an otherwise vacant shopping center. Polymer Solutions down in the industrial park. Union Bank recently infilled the big atrium in their building. They're now going to be renting those spaces to other companies. And Councilman Hubbard Sunroof.
Let's stop for a minute. I wasn't gonna, I did not know I would get this kind of press. But I have to, it was really quite an ordeal, really, and I want to say that Chris and Billy, they had to come to my house, maybe 6 times, for different types of
For
inspections.
code violations, didn't they, Steve?
And,
I don't think you were doing it on your own, right?
and I tell you what, the contractors, they respected those 2 guys, you
Yes.
know? And I think they were pleased too, they came, you know, they didn't have to wait around a long time, and they did a good job, and it was it deserves the press that you've given.
Thank you for saying that. Just a couple of the current administrative projects that we're working on. We are currently updating our building permit applications. We've had the same application for, probably 12 years. So we're trying to update that so it's more user-friendly, easier to fill out. Hopefully that'll expedite review time, help the permit tech and us locate the building permits easier. And it'll be a lot easier for the customers to complete the permit while they're here. The permits will be trade specific so that we can get the correct information for the specific trade, meaning electrical, mechanical, plumbing, fuel gas. Currently, our permit encompasses everything, so it has zoning setbacks on it, building information, and it's confusing for the customers to fill out sometimes. So there's specific information I need for an electrical permit that I don't need for someone to set a storage building. Our new property maintenance and inspection correction forms that will interact with our online permitting system so that in the field, the inspectors or myself will be able to go to our iPad, have a sheet come up with drop downs, we can fill out the violations, hit send, and it'll go right to the person that we need to contact if we have their email address. And then occupancy permits will also be derived directly from our permit software. So our permit software works off of parcel ID. If you've got the parcel ID, You hit a button, it'll load everything on there. When someone wants a CO, we hit print, and it'll come out much quicker than what we do now. Just some statistical things. For fiscal year 14 and 15, there were 3,180 building inspections performed, 46 commercial plan reviews, 147 residential plan reviews, 1,634 permits were issued. We received 39 property maintenance complaints. We had 3 meth labs this past year and 68 cases of construction without a permit.
Jerry, Mr. Enline, with that last slide up, can you throw back up those numbers again? One of the questions I was gonna ask, being in this line of work for the time that you've been and knowing the other communities around, and there's no right answer that I'm looking for this question, but I'd like your perception of how you think that our community ranks and your department ranks, sort of on a scale from 1 to 10 as far as aggressiveness of enforcing building codes, where 1 is very passive, we only do something if someone calls
Yeah.
and says, and then 10 would be almost like a police state where we're going out looking for trouble all the time.
I would say we're a 7.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you're on the upper side. So when you're driving, you and your staff are driving around town, and you see something going on, and you're pretty sure that there's not a permit,
Yeah.
you're gonna look into that.
They're issued a stop work order, or sometimes we try to keep it more personal. I prefer, if I can find the number of the person, I prefer to call them and say,
Yeah.
hey, you need a permit for this, would you mind? A lot of times if somebody pulls up after having a bad day and they see an orange notice on their front door, that's not good. So we try to keep it as personal as we can,
Right.
depending on what we might be dealing with. But yeah, we don't make it a point every day to go out and strictly just search for things being built without permits.
Right.
But from time to time, and that's where a lot of the 68 cases, the last one there, that really started last September when we started noticing these storage buildings just being set
Okay.
everywhere.
And that's some things we hear about sometimes.
And so the planning department, in conjunction with our staff, as we were out, or actually there was days I made points to go out and hit different areas of town and look around. We'd come back and compare it on the aerial map. If that storage building wasn't sitting there last year, then they were sent a notice.
Oh.
So yeah, we're fairly aggressive with it. Like I said, it would be a 7 out of 10, I would say.
Over 5, okay. Thank you, it was a good presentation.
Jerry, I just got a real quick question. The meth labs, you all just had one about 2 weeks ago, a rather large one off of East, if I recall.
Correct.
On, and pursuant to your policy that you brought before council about 3 years ago for us to have the meth lab cleanup policy, one of the first in the area, I believe, in Southwest Virginia, is that the taxpayers didn't have to reap the cost of those remedial efforts, which are costly, of course.
Correct.
Any pushback or any issues at all with us being able to include it as a court cost, or being able to have those property owners? And in fact, in that case, it was the landlord, because they were
Yes.
renters.
There's definitely been some pushback. We had one recently up on Summit Ridge Road, and the cleanup for that job was $10,000.
Right.
So it is expensive. But we can't turn around and allow someone to rent a house to someone that's contaminated with that without going through the proper steps.
Right.
And I know it's expensive. We've looked at things that we could do to try to relieve some of that cost, like letting the homeowners clean them themselves. But as I look at other guidelines from North Carolina, Colorado, there's 10 or 11 states that have specific, not guidelines, they have law about it. None of them allow homeowners to do that
No,
themselves.
well, it's,
And-
the one up here was like full blown, and it was.
Yes. So the one you just mentioned on East Street,
Yeah.
that one is currently condemned and
Right.
is setting roped off until we hear back from the.
And as far as the landlord, the owner of that property, or that park facility, he would be the one incurring the cost of that remediation.
That's correct.
And any cost that our police department to go in, or hazmat, or whomever had to go in, that's billed back to him.
Yes.
Yes, sir. One of the 2 other things, the link to the codes that you mentioned, are they available online through the,
Yes, there's,
Okay.
actually, I think you can get to them from our website.
that's what I'm saying, link from your website?
Yes.
And do y'all keep a hard copy in down there as well for public access?
Yes, we do.
That's great.
So, with that, anything else?
I'd like to add one thing. One thing he didn't put on his list, they get, not every day, but several times a year, they get threatened.
It might be several times a day.
I mean, I'm gonna kill you, or I'm gonna whip you, or whatever, so He left that off his list.
We had looked at one time of being issued weapons, but growing up, I played with basketballs and footballs. I didn't shoot guns. I don't know that I'd feel safe.
I almost would ask you about do basketball and all, but I let that on.
I want to make this clear that I was not one of the ones that did this.
Well, if nothing else, I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jerry, appreciate it. Next under our staff reports, Ricky Bourne, Director of Public Works, and Jim Lancinese, okay, Superintendent of Public Works, update on the Public Works Department.
Evening, Mayor, Council. Thank you for this opportunity to provide information about the Public Works Department. Tonight, I'm going to provide you a broad overview of our department due to the sheer size of the department. However, we will have additional presentations in the coming months that will expand on the divisions specifically. First, I want to start with some introductions. I've got several members of my staff here. I want to start with Eddie Smith, if you don't mind, stand up. Thank you for coming out tonight too, Eddie. Eddie's got 36 years in the Public Works Department. He's been here through most of the changes that we've seen across the town forever. I think that's fair to say, isn't it, Eddie?
Yes, sir.
Eddie's a Public Works Administrative Clerk, and he's really the voice of Public Works. So when you call in for something, typically it's always Eddie that's answering the phone. So I want to make sure I recognize him tonight. Jim Lancinese, if you don't mind, if you'll introduce yourself.
Jim Lancinese, I'm the Field Operations Superintendent. I've been with the town 6.5 years.
Ryan Hendricks.
I'm Ryan Hendricks. I'm the wastewater operations superintendent, and I've only been here since January of 2014.
And David and Tommy, since y'all decided to show up, if you don't mind. Thank you.
Tom Sullivan, Assistant Superintendent of Utilities and Sanitation. Started here in '96.
David Sutphin, I'm the Assistant Superintendent over Streets. I've been here 14 years.
And I am Ricky Bourne, the Director of Public Works, and I've been with the town going on my 15th year, and I've been about 3 years in the Director position. I'm honored tonight to highlight some of the roles that Public Works plays, also the employees, as well as the critical functions that are essential to any community. So to start with our mission statement, the Christiansburg Public Works Department is committed to providing quality service to each of our departments, being within the town, citizens, businesses, and visitors in a reliable, efficient, and professional manner. Public Works promotes a safe, positive, and productive work environment for all employees while striving to maintain the infrastructure by developing efficient, innovative, and sustainable practices. Public Works ensures excellence in public service by continuous professional development by pursuing these goals. Our vision is to be a recognized Public Works leader by providing quality services, innovative solutions, sustainable infrastructure, and continued professional development of our staff. And here's just an overview of the structure here. We've got Jim Lancinese, the Field Operations Superintendent. Tommy and David directly report to him. And we also have an opening in the General Services position currently. Ryan Hendricks, which was over the wastewater operations. He has an operations supervisor, maintenance supervisor, and a lab supervisor.
What's the general services there, Mr. Bourne?
That falls under the safety or fleet, building maintenance, and solid waste and recycling also fall under that umbrella.
Is that someone we've had, or is that gonna be a new position?
That's something we've had before.
That TBD, okay, so
Yeah.
it's a vacant position at the present.
Correct.
Okay.
That's correct.
Thanks.
And what is Public Works? Public Works is responsible for the construction, operation, and maintenance of the entire town's infrastructure, including many of the services that you receive. Do we have sound hooked up to this?
Sure, I think it comes out as projector.
If the video works here, it's a little bit grainy. It's not the best of quality, but it's a good overview from an outside perspective. No sound? All right, we'll just kill that one then.
I thought it was a projector.
Sorry about that. And in the United States, there's approximately 19,400 municipalities of varying sizes. Okay. And this is just an overview of our Public Works complex off of Scattergood Road. I'll point out a couple different things. Where we park our equipment, dump trucks, backhoes, are all along this top shed here. And just to get you familiar, come off of Franklin Street, turning in where the child care center is and all that. Coming down, this is where the Public Works complex is. Our salt shed, where we store all of our chemicals for snow removal, are in this big dome. Administrative offices are in this, and we also have the modulars that we've most recently updated and put into place. And our warehouse is right here, street division right here, and our utilities most recently was updated, the building for that there. And this is all fleet and sign shop.
So Mr. Sutphen's office would be there, or would it?
Sutphen's would be in this area where it's not showing the buildings in this current picture, where we have the modular units.
Anyone else here that would be in that area, in Scattergood, off of Scattergood?
Yeah, the only person that's not is
Oh, okay.
Ryan Hendricks.
Mr.
He's in
Hendricks,
Crab
okay.
Creek, and we'll have an overview of that too.
So Mr. Lancinese, you're out here too?
Yes, sir.
Got to stop by and see you guys.
Come on down.
It's interesting,
Yeah.
if you've not been
I've been down there,
I'd
but
encourage you all
Come on
to
down.
stop in. It's,
Yeah, it actually happens to be the previous wastewater treatment plant.
Mhm.
That's what we're operating on. Our department's organized into 3 divisions. Administration being myself, field operations being Jim, David, Tommy, and the open position all report underneath Jim's umbrella. Wastewater operations, which was Ryan Hendricks. Some of the administrative division responsibilities. $14 million budget. We are over 40% of the town's overall budget. Functions managed underneath that are annual budget proposals, procurements, expenditures. Under personnel, we're staffed on average with 100 full-time employees. We do evaluations, recruitment, training, disciplinary, program coordination and control. Some of the programs, just listed a few here. Leaf pickup, snow removal, spring and fall cleanup, and then safety. So, field operations, this is the streets subdivision of field operations. Concrete, street maintenance, traffic operations, and right-of-way maintenance. The street infrastructure, we have a 14 square mile radius that includes about 250 lane miles of roadway. Utilities division under field operation includes construction, stormwater, water, wastewater, water pump stations, and utility locating. There's about 150 miles of sewer line and equal water line that we have the responsibility of maintaining. And I mentioned this a little bit earlier, but general services, fleet maintenance, facility maintenance, surplus property, warehouse, solid waste and recycling. And we manage it's 10 facilities with over 25 associated buildings and grounds. And again, we'll get into more statistics on future presentations on more details with what we do. Wastewater treatment facility, operations and maintenance, certified laboratory, industrial pretreatment, biosolids and land application, permit compliance, protection of the environment and public health, pump station operation and maintenance. The plant's designed for 6 million gallons of wastewater treatment, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. 2.4 million gallons per day is the average treatment. 290 dry tons of biosolids produced annually. And we have 17 wastewater lift stations throughout the town. And there's an overview of the wastewater treatment plant. And Ryan, if you wanna.
What's the minimum number of people you'd ever have there at one time at the wastewater treatment plant?
The minimum number?
Yeah, the minimum.
One person
So
on,
it's good.
on second shift. Yeah, so we're, the plant is completely computerized, well, I say completely, but it's completely monitored by a computer system, which allows us to basically, have a monitoring only, very rudimentary, skills during that and, on that and everything.
Is there someone there 24 hours a day, or you're just there?
No, sir, we're required by the Department of Environmental Quality to maintain the facility 16 hours a day. Most facilities our size are staffed 24 hours a day. Barry might be able to elaborate a little bit on this, but probably 15 years ago when we went to UV disinfection and we were able to computerize and get more alarms and safety features, that took some of the hazards away. Because we weren't discharging into the small Crab Creek, we're now discharging into the New River. So that's some of the things that allow us to now only operate for 16 hours a day. We've got a permit up now, so that could always be taken away, but that's something we would probably fight to keep.
Okay. I've listed some of the special events that we support, throughout the town. Triathlons, Christmas parade, Veterans Day Parade, wastewater plant tours, Touch a Truck event most recently, even though I think that was canceled or we weren't able to make that when we do that. Cruising Christiansburg events, Wilderness Trail, World Series, the Hark Raider World Series, flag, banner displays, tech tailgate, food truck rodeos, fire department parades, farmers market, homecoming parade, fall festival, and the Christmas store, and that's just a few that we put up there. We support a lot of events. Emergency operations, just to give you some examples of those. Obviously, snow removal, that's a big one that everybody's familiar with. Water breaks, sewer stoppages, storm response, support for emergency services, traffic signs, specifically stop signs that we have to come out for. Customer calls for service, water station storage tank alarms, wastewater pump station alarms, wastewater treatment facility alarms, and wet weather operations at the plant. Required certifications, and one of the reasons I wanted to post some of these things on here, a lot of times there can be a view of Public Works, the perception of it as far as the workers and everything as being less skilled or different varying education levels and things like that. So I felt it important to point out some of the technical certifications and more importantly what it really requires to operate the department. All of our employees are work zone, flagger, and CPR certified. Over 50 of our employees have commercial driver's license. Trent safety certifications following close in behind that. We have certified Virginia Waterworks operators, certified wastewater works operators, and that goes from class 4 all the way to class 1. Or I guess it's actually, that is the right way, isn't it? In procurement, we have people that are VCA, VCO certified through the state, which are the state procurement requirements. Manager of Environmental Safety and Health certifications, erosion sediment control, pesticide applicator certificates, and NASCO certified inspectors, which is a sewer pipeline inspection certification, land applications through DEQ, and FEMA, the incident command system. Several employees with that too. Okay. I just wanted to point out a few of the professional organizations that we're associated with. American Public Works Association, American Water Works Association, Virginia Water Environment Association, Virginia Association of Municipal Wastewater Associations, Virginia Institute of Governmental Procurement, International Municipal Signal Association, Virginia Rural Water Association, and the National Safety Council. Any questions?
I don't have a question, I just want to make a statement concerning the wastewater treatment plant.
Yes, sir.
I think you said it was discharging to the New River, correct?
Yes, sir.
But I think it'd be good for you to let people know that when this discharge, that it is fairly clean water, because I took a tour of your facility during the summer, and there's a big difference between before and after effects. I don't want people to think that we're discharging untreated waste into the New River.
Again, Ryan will do a wonderful job when he gives his presentation explaining the level of quality of the water at that too.
Yes, sir, yeah, you came down and visited us, and I invite all of you guys to council to come down and take a visit. We're a little more difficult to get to, you gotta go under the railroad bridge and through the creek to get to us, but yeah, it's heavily treated. We remove almost 99% of all pollutants that come through the facility.
Will you drink a glass of the effluent when we
No,
go
sir.
there? No, not
That's a
I've seen him do that, I've seen him do that before.
It gets diluted in the river, then treated again, then we drink it.
That's a very convincing argument.
But it is, because I mean, they have their own, lab on site and stuff, so very impressive for a sewer plant.
And also, I've also provided you some information. A lot of this came from the Public Works Academy that we do, the Citizens Academy that we've done, and you've got several pieces of information on that too. Any other questions?
Is there, every year in the budget, is there something that you really think would make your operation a lot better that a lot of times council doesn't approve?
Do I just get to name one item? Because I've got my staff here tonight, if I name one, I may put myself in a predicament there.
He's pinching himself out.
You know, obviously, there's items that we would definitely benefit from, you know, having, increasing, you know, the efficiency of the operation and stuff like that. But, you know, we're so large, it takes multiple purchases every year to keep us, you know, to keep us going. And, you know, with the most recent, I guess, budget reductions and things like that, it's been a little more difficult, definitely. Any other questions?
Well, I will say this, that, and I'm sure that all the council members feel the same way. It's, you know, it really hits home with what you do, particularly when you look at the snows over the last couple of years and how, you know, how you all have given it 24 hours a day and had the streets open and the subdivisions open within a very reasonable time. I get a lot of compliments from people away, and you're involved in this too. The landscaping downtown and the flowers and the whole 9 yards.
Absolutely.
And everyone that comes into town is amazed at the overall cleanliness of the town and how it looks good. We got a few potholes we're going to work on down the road, but for the visual enhancement part of it, I will say that I get lots of compliments from outsiders about what a nice, clean little town this is.
Thank you very much, appreciate that.
Similar to when you all paved Sapphire Avenue not too long ago, if I recall. That was the town, correct?
Sapphire?
Yes.
Part of it.
That was the neighbors up and around Sapphire were just thrilled. And not just, and I don't mean just with the finished product, but I think frankly the expectation was it'd be a nice, smooth, beautiful road, but with the, I know a lot of the neighbors out there had some interactions with the crews, and
Oh, gotcha.
I heard wonderful things about it. I know some of them were serving drinks, my wife took some things out. It was they were very appreciative there on the call. So.
Yeah, and we actually get a lot of that stuff when we're out in the neighborhoods. A lot of times, you know, water breaks, snow removal, we get a lot of interactions.
School kids don't say very much about y'all snow removal, but
So we get a few snowballs on that.
And I will say, you know, they have programs in force now that they will study the different streets as to what the ones that need paving more sooner than others. And as a prime example, they paved every street in my neighborhood this year except mine. So the mayor didn't make the cut.
I promise it wasn't intentional.
I understand totally. Any other comments?
you know, the brush pickup in the fall and the spring. I think I get more comments than that from other people about how wonderful that is. I think that is, when people think about the town, they see that, and that is a big, big plus.
I've got one question for you, Mr. Bourne.
Sure.
With the pickup of where we've moved in the last 24 months to the different types of automated trash pickup, have you received, I know originally we had some pushback. We had a lot of meetings with members of the townhome communities, a couple of them at the Aquatic Center. I will personally tell you, to me, it's working wonderful at this point. Looking back, it is going to save us money over the long term, but have you felt as if a lot of the concerns and questions from the citizens have decreased as we went forward with this process?
Absolutely. I think Val can probably speak to this a little bit too, because she gets a lot of the new service requests. But I think what we've seen initially, some of the complaints and things like that, were not knowing how it was going to work, but once it got implemented, as an example, with the 96-gallon carts versus the 64s, or the 48s, we actually, a lot of people took the 48s to begin with, but many of those have already switched back to the 96. So it's
They hold a
very
lot.
great.
That's a lot more than you'd think. And again, and I think part of the issue was that we had, of course, trash bags and things that would be out before we went to that program. Dogs, animals, wild animals, whatever we get into, we'd have trash flowing about. Have we received hardly any comments or problems with that at all in the last 6 months to a year?
We have a handful, and Public Works has assisted the planning department in enforcing that. We have a handful in town, and we address it, but they're.
Nothing like before?
No, not at all.
Fantastic.
Yeah, the only thing I can really point to, and that's not really an issue, but it's been something we didn't really expect, is the changeover between new customers and, people moving out.
Taking their trash can with them. When we sold our house, we all end up with 2.
But
So,
I mean, that's been well managed within the
Right.
department, hasn't been an issue. So,
Absolutely. Well, I'm glad to hear that, because I know you all dealt with some reaction and some outcry from the public, so I'm glad. And I know,
Sure.
I will, and to give you credit, I think I can speak for Henry as well on the committee. You all handled it with grace, even in the spite of it would be difficult to handle some of those comments
Right,
with grace.
right.
But I thought you all did fantastic in your presentations
Thank you very
and
much.
trying to
Appreciate
work with
that.
the public with that, so.
Thank you.
I think you touched on it very well about the quality of people we have working. And I know in my own neighborhood, stopping by, there might be a summer night at 8:30 or 9 at evening, but I've never heard and never experienced someone that wasn't, willing to stop and explain what's going on, just professional. And that's what we have. I'm sure there's exceptions to that, as there are, but across the board, I've found that and I've heard that, you rarely, I won't say never, rarely, because we did get an email this week, but that was, very, very few of those. But the professionalism is evident, and to stop and just ask what's going, what are y'all doing, and just, classy,
Thank you very much.
yeah.
Appreciate that.
Thanks, Rick.
Anybody else? Thank you.
That will conclude our staff reports, discussion by mayor and council members, council action on community development block grant, CDBG consolidated plan for 2015-16 annual action plan.
Mr. Mayor, I would move that we approve the CDBG as we've, in its, I guess, received form. I do have some questions about it, but I would move that we approve the finished document.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Questions?
I just have a couple, and I didn't bring the whole thing with me. I just printed out the questions that I had from the different pages and all. But I guess in general, though, when I read through it, it's a long document, 77 pages long. But it seemed that, generally speaking, and as an overview, just so everyone understands, we're looking to, under the LMI population, that we're looking to increase your connectivity within neighborhood to neighborhood, or to their ability to get to vital resources, medical or even a commercial or whatever the case may be. Correct. And that's what I wanted to ask you about, is that I noticed when I read the document, now there's many times it's been repeated that we don't have, we're not involved with the homeless outreach as much as what we have NRCA and some other external entities and some nonprofits that are involved with that. But we still do support those entities though through our, the budgetary process and through our other support.
And that's noted in the document.
Yes.
That we do support them, and we provide staffing to those committees and those types of things too. But with this funding, we do
Mhm.
not support them through that because we're limited in our funding compared to like
Yes.
Blacksburg, gets the same amount, gets the same grant, and they probably get 8 times as much.
Did I see correctly about 110,000
That's
is what we're looking at?
typical, about 110.
And we're looking to put this, the main portion of this in through the Park Street type area, that area, the greater
There,
area?
but eventually, we have plans and goals to go out East Main towards Danger Hill, and any other connections that we can make there to assist those citizens.
And those, and we've not noted those areas because that is where we, the most, I guess, the dense population of those individuals that wouldn't otherwise be served, correct? Okay. And the reason I want to bring that up is that, for years, we've talked about this may not be somewhat tangential to this, but about the bus service and all. And I want to admit that, we're reaching those populations and of course with the bus stops as well and how we're having those all throughout the town. But in relation to this though, the cost for sidewalks, I didn't realize was expensive or how expensive it was. How much are we looking to be able to do with the grant that's been given us? And that's not a matching grant either, correct? This,
No, it's not.
it's a full grant.
Off the top of my head, it's not far.
Okay.
It's honestly not far. Doing this next piece, we're gonna start from Depot Street and come the way up, and we're matching 250,000 of our CDBG funds with VDOT funds, and we're not expecting.
So basically using one money to match the other,
the
money. Right,
others. We
great.
do that with revenue sharing, that saves the town the expense there. We're looking at maybe a block or two at this point
Okay.
along there. It's just, it doesn't, sidewalk infrastructure after engineering and all those type of things just doesn't get us that
We're
far.
also doing stormwater work in that area too.
I saw that on
It's
there.
more than just sidewalks.
Yeah, yeah,
Well, and I also noted that it said in there about the lead-based paint reduction.
yeah.
And the reason I brought that up is that with a lot of our underserved individuals and underserved areas, that's a problem of remediation. And I noticed, I saw where the Montgomery County takes the lead on that, but I also noted in Jerry's presentation about the, you all also are involved with the lead-based paint reduction as well, correct?
It's not in the building code.
It's not, okay.
No.
But does the county, do we reach out to the county when we have an issue in that regard, or?
The only time we would be involved with lead-based paint may be in property maintenance. If there's chipping or peeling paint on the side of the structure, we might get an order to have it tested.
And the county will be the ones that come out to test, is
It
that
would
correct?
it would be most likely a third-party agent, a private agency.
Okay.
Private company.
But, and not to put you on the spot, but as far as those areas where we're with remediation purposes and with those, again, areas where it might be Section 8 or something, we are very, I guess, aggressive when those issues come up, I mean, as far as stepping up, and these are pieces that can't really protect themselves, that's what I was asking about.
I've never had a lead-based paint issue
Okay.
brought to my attention. But if you did, that would all be covered under OSHA. There are requirements OSHA has.
And the county has to have someone in that role, correct?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I couldn't answer. I don't know if the county's involved or not. I always assumed it to be an OSHA regulation, that they would be the ones monitoring that.
And I just noticed in the documents that we don't get involved in that as a town. Same thing with social service and homelessness, that's what our county does, but.
County handles all
Okay.
that for us.
Well, again, it's a long document, but there's a lot of things I've learned from it, but, and that's why I hate to ask those questions, because I'm just uneducated in the field. But that's the things that kind of stuck out in my mind, but again, I do appreciate everything you put in here, it's a big one.
Mayor, I'd like to make one point. Basically, the only area in town we can use these funds for is an area bound by Roanoke Street, starting right here at the corner of the building, Roanoke Street down to Stockyard, Depot Street, back down to East Main, and East Main back to right here. So that's the only area we can use, basically the park area. It's the only area we can use the money,
Thought that'd be a triangle kind of.
big triangle.
Where's the sidewalk extension coming? Because I know.
Be down, we're gonna start down at Depot Street at Stockyard and work our way back up and tie it into existing sidewalk.
The new one, or the sort of new one?
Yeah,
Across the
it's been
bridge.
repaired.
Huh?
Oh, no, coming back up Park Street.
Okay,
Where would-
so you won't be connecting to the Roanoke Street
Eventually
extension?
we will, but not with this project, I don't think. We need to replace the bridge and all in there too, that's another project.
Okay.
at a later date.
And the great irony is that we are constrained low, moderate income to this triangle,
Mhm.
and most of the town of Blacksburg is low to moderate income.
Yeah.
Which is mind-boggling, but it's because of the student population. So and this is to say, there, as Mr. Helm says, we're constrained to use it in a certain area. We'd like to, maybe have some other projects as well, but due to those controls. And two simple questions. How many projects have we completed with this money so far? Have it been two?
There have been two that have been
Two.
phased, and so the Roanoke Street coming from Deeper Round, we constructed new sidewalk up to the gas station there in East Street,
Mhm.
and then the rehabilitation along Roanoke Street from there on, in front of Wade's and all that too. And
Mhm.
then we've done rehabilitation along East Main and Park Street at this point.
Okay.
So we
And then-
phased that project.
This will be about our fourth year working on this project.
We're finishing up you'll be getting another report in a month or so. That's gonna be our 5th-year report regarding what we've done.
Okay.
So we're starting a new 5-year cycle.
Okay.
That's what this is gonna be applied to. So technically.
Because we started out at about 110,000 working on the project per year.
Yeah, so this is gonna be like technically our 6th
Yep.
year working on projects.
And then we have $225,000 right now for the,
Approximately that, it's
And-
kind of been on hold while we've been waiting to move forward on this project.
and it's gonna be put on Park Street.
Yes.
And when will is that project been engineered?
We have a consultant, we're working on a contract with a consultant, they're under contract, we've met with them recently to walk the project, they're beginning the engineering.
Okay. Thank you very much, Nicole.
Any other questions, comments? We have a motion and a second, Madam Clerk?
Yes, sir. Councilman Bishop? Councilman Hall?
Aye.
Councilman Hubbard? Councilman Showalter?
Aye.
Councilman Stipes?
Aye.
Councilman Van Hoosier?
Aye.
Very good, 6-0. Council reports, Mr. Stipes, I'll start with you.
I have none, Mayor, but thanks for asking.
Mr. Showalter?
We're inching closer and closer to a central business district advisory board or committee, whatever we want. Huh?
Subcommittee.
Subcommittee, is that what it is now? We're getting close.
Let's get it together, then we'll name it.
That's perfect.
Mr. Hubbard?
I just want to commend both the presentations here tonight. You got both excellent and a real teaching tool, I know for me, and I congratulate you on that. And the other point I wanted to make was concerning Mayor Lincoln. And I just read this in the paper today that, maybe everybody knows this, but I wasn't aware of it, that Harold was on the town council for 16 years, and then he was mayor for 20 years. And I don't think that there's ever gonna be anybody who gets more than that. I mean, it's quite a career there in the town for Mayor Lincoln.
Quite a lot of service. Mr. Van Hoosier?
I don't have a whole lot, but one of the things that we support in our budget is the BT Knowledge Works, which is an organization over in the Research Center that supports new technologies and tries to help them develop into businesses that are viable and so forth, with the goal of trying to keep as many as possible in this area. I've attended several of their meetings, and it's just phenomenal, the type of projects they're working on, from cancer research and cures and so forth. But they have an annual taste and sound down at Roanoke each year to try to help people understand more who they are and things like that, and it's a social. And on August the 2nd, they ran a little ad in the paper, sort of advertising that, and they put the logo of the sponsors in there, which happened to include Christiansburg. So I thought we'd pass it around and take a look at it. And that's it.
That's it. Mr. Hall?
Very briefly. The two things I want to mention, first and foremost, it's kind of, I want to really give appreciation to Jerry for both presentations were fantastic, but specifically I want to talk for a minute about the remediation program with the meth lab. And we just had another large one in town, and some of you probably aren't aware, but there was a 7-day-old child involved in this one in conjunction with 2 other children that had to be decontaminated at the hospital. But when I was talking to some people about this, I kind of found myself involved in this situation, not in the meth lab. But there was all these comments about, we're going to be paying for it again. And I said, actually, we're not. And it gave me such a pride to be able to say, well, Mr. Henline from our town, and in conjunction with council and the mayor, there's a policy out there that where we pass this along, not from the taxpayers anymore, but it's borne by the individuals who are in the best position to deal with it, and frankly, to prevent it. In other words, you can go on, to observe your property whenever you feel like it if you're on the property. I said, so it's not passed on to taxpayers. So people didn't realize it. They didn't know about it. They do now. And so that was really, could have been, I think it was an excellent chance for us to show that we led the way. And again, Jerry, that was something you proposed to us 3 years ago that led the way. I don't know if a lot of localities have followed in your footsteps, but I know a lot of them were talking about it back then. So again, both presentations were fantastic, but specifically involved in that one. That was a great, I think it spoke volumes of our DSS in this particular area, working with our police department in conjunction with them, the way they were able to get in there and do what they needed to do to protect the kids. Secondly, in the same realm, I want to give some accolades to the police department. They have a program, I was looking online a little bit, and it's through CVS Pharmacy, as they get in conjunction with them. And it's about your prescription medications. You can take them there, you can drop them off. There's no questions asked policy. I think that's very important to put that out there. And what we see a lot with our kids is first and foremost to having a problem is the accessibility of that. And prescription medications are by far the most abused drug out there. And so with kids, again, it's accessible. It's in the medicine cabinet. A lot of the medications, their parents, they go unused or what have you. But I just want to pass along that our police department also leads the way in a lot of areas. And this is yet another one, working in conjunction with CVS, that this is a year-round process. You can drop them off whenever you want to. At certain hours of the week. They don't ask any questions, but it's a great, safe way to not only get rid of your prescriptions, and they don't even, again, your prescription or any prescriptions that are at your house, but also that, of course, they don't find their way into our waterways. It's a fantastic, yet another service above and beyond the call of duty that our police department offers. So that's the 2 things I had to report tonight. But again, just makes you very proud to be a member of Christiansburg, that we lead the way not only on the meth side of things and passing that cost on, but just in the little things that we do as well. So very appreciative.
I don't have a time.
Mr. Bishop,
Don't have
nothing
a
going
time.
on, huh?
No, sir.
Okay. Thursday at the rec center at 1 o'clock, former Mayor Ballinger was here, and they're doing a presentation on Agency on Aging, and I believe they're going to honor Mr. Weaver for his years of service, over 40 years of service. I think the presentation for him it starts around 1 o'clock, so any of you that are available or free and would like to come by, I think it would be appreciated.
They asked for an RSVP, but I did not respond, but I plan on going.
That's fine.
Just for the presentation.
That's fine. That's good. I've been asked by our public information office to write an article for the upcoming newsletter, and it's kind of called the end of tournament season. And I had the rec department and the aquatic center break down the events, and without going so deep into it, between the 2 departments from March until the end of July, they had 35 events. I think there was 17,000 participants, teams, 506 baseball teams, 43,000 spectators and visitors to the area. They had a combination of accounting for 4,500 motel rooms being rented in town during that time. Approximately 110,000 meals purchased from our local restaurants. 17 states were represented, and an estimated $7 million worth of economic impact into the community. So that will come out, but I thought it was very impressive. And so that averaged about 1.6 events a week. And they ranged from World Series to softball tournaments to the 10 swim meets. And that didn't really include New River Valley Super Bowl, who sponsored a state bowling tournament that brought between 9,000 and 10,000 people in through Christiansburg during the summer. So it was quite a busy summer for our Parks and Rec and Aquatic Center, but it was encouraging to see the numbers. With that, town manager reports.
Okay, like a few public hearings to set. Like to set, one for the 25th of August. I'll go through all of them, if you don't mind, we'll do them as one resolution, or one motion. 25th of August, we need to have a public hearing on our issuing a bond. We talked about it at the last meeting, with a public hearing to actually go through that process, so. Okay, that'd be for the 25th of August. For the 8th of September, 2015 Consolidated Annual Performance Evaluation Report. It's one Nicole just mentioned for the CDBG grant. Need to have a public hearing on that. And then for the 22nd of September, rezoning request for 915 Peppers Ferry Road, northwest from R2 to B3, general business. And that's the Phillips property on the left, just before you get to Belmont Farms.
It's on the others.
Huh?
It's on the right going out, just past, next to the convenience.
Oh, I'm sorry, that's right, never, not that. It's the one next to the convenience store.
Okay. All right.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, please.
Councilman Bishop? Councilman Hall?
Aye.
Councilman Hubbard?
Aye.
Councilman Showalter?
Aye.
Councilman Stipes?
Aye.
Councilman Van Hoosier?
Aye.
I believe that'd be 6-0. Any further business to come before council?
Thanks, Mr. Chair.
Oh, you're not done yet? Don't-
The annual, VML annual conference is in October, 4th through 6th in Richmond. Michelle's trying to make room reservations. So those who haven't responded, please let her know if she needs to make a reservation or not. The legislative rail reception is going to be on the 20th of August at Radford University from 5:30 to 7 in their new building. It's the economics building up on
Kobe building.
Kobe there.
COBE.
If you would, let me know if you're gonna go, because we need to RSVP that by Friday. We'll talk about the possible new rail service here to the area and try to gather support from the legislators, congressmen, anybody else they get support from.
Put me down on that.
What date was that again, Mr.
The
Hamilton?
20th is next
Thursday.
Thursday, from 5:30 to 7.
That's, okay, I think I've already, at Tech, that's the one we've,
It's at Radford University.
what is the one we've got that's at Tech?
That's the elected official, legislative elected officials.
That's Griffith.
With,
That's a breakfast.
Morgan
That's a
Griffith, that's a
breakfast.
That's
breakfast.
breakfast that day.
Okay, I've seen on my, it's got a hold and it's got those things, okay, all right. I didn't mean to get those two confused.
Okay, the other thing, just a little quick update on the free passes for employees to the Aquatic Center. There's been 58 total memberships, and then with that, 2 family memberships have been purchased, 10 couple memberships, and 3 classes have been signed up for. So that's just passed.
Well, that's great, within the
Months
timeframe that we had.
basically, yeah.
Very good. Very good.
And that's all I have, sir.
Okay. Is there anything else to come before council? We are adjourned.
My name is-